Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 1-2 of October-November 2020 for Math A-Level. So with that being said, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have the coefficient of x cubed in this expansion is equal to 20. So we have to find the value of k. K is right here. So we have to use the information given to us to find that value of k. So how would you expand this, right? So you would take the first value, 1, times this one, and then you will take the second value, which is kx, times the expansion. So now, with this expansion, you only care about the term, the coefficient of x cubed. So you only care about the term in x cubed. You only care about the value in front of the term in x cubed. So how are you going to find this? So you have two ways. One is you can expand everything and then choose the one that will make it have the term in x cubed, or you can just pick by trial and error, find the one that you need. For example, I know this is 1, this will be 1, but then I know if I have to expand this, it will be something like this. I will have 5, choose something, I don't know, and then I will have 1 here, and then minus 2, x, right? So now observe, if I want something in x cubed here, my power of x has to be 3, right? If this is 3, this will also be 3, and 5 minus 3, that is 2. So this is my first expansion of this one. How about this one? I have kx. Now expand this one. I will have something like this, and choose something times the first term and then minus 2x. So now if I want the term in x cubed, I will have to have the term here power 2, because I have x here already. So when x times x squared, that will give me x cubed, right? If I have 2 here, this will be 2 and this will be 3. Now we can simplify one by one. So 5 choose 3 is 10. You can check. So 5 choose 3, 10. 1 square is 1, and this will be, so we have minus 2 cubed, that will be minus 8, x cubed, plus kx, and that will be 10 as well, 1, 4x squared. So now we have to simplify. So here will be minus 80x cubed plus 40kx cubed. So now we can simplify, we can factorize the x cubed outside. So you will have minus 80 plus 40k, and outside is x cubed. Okay, so now we can actually find the value of k. How? Because the question told you that the coefficient of x cubed is equal to 20. Now, what is the coefficient of the term in x cubed? So for example, let's say I have something like this, ax power 4. So I would say the coefficient of x power 4 is, so x power 4, the coefficient is a number in front of that. So here it will be a as the coefficient of x power 4. So same thing here, the coefficient of x power 3 is the number in the beginning of this value. So it will be minus 80 plus 40k is equal to, given to you by 20. And we have this equation that we can solve to find the value of k. So 40k, that will be 100. So k will be 2.5 as your value. And that is your question number 1. Now let's move on to question number 2. So here what do we have? Let's see. We have the first, second, and third terms of a geometric progression. So now we know already it is a geometric progression. So something I like to do is I like to write down all the formulas that we have for geometric progression. So I know that the nth term, so a is the first term, right? The nth term, let's call this Tn, is given by the formula a r n minus 1, and the sum to infinity is equal to a over 1 minus r, where r has to be less than 1. I mean the modulus is less than 1. So this is what I know for geometric progression. Now it is given that the first, second and third term, so my first, second and third term has been given to us. We have 2p plus 6, we have minus 2p, and then we have p plus 2. Okay, now where p is a positive value, so this is good to know. So my question is, we have to find the sum to infinity of this progression. So we have to find the sum to infinity of this progression. So now how can we do this? If you observe, we need to find these values. So we know a is my first term, is given by this, so that is good, but we don't know r, so we have to find r. Now how can you find r, and what is r? R is called the common ratio, right? So you guys have to know this. For example, I have the first term. To obtain the second term, I multiply by r to obtain the second term. Now from the second term, I have to multiply by r to obtain the third term. It is the common ratio. And how do I know this is true? Because it is given to us already that it is a geometric progression. And geometric progression is always like this. First term multiply by something, give you the value. Multiply by the same thing, give you the other value. So this is for geometric progression. So now we have to try to form an equation to find that value, or to help us find the value of this. So if you observe, and if you would have done many practices, you will know this pretty easily as well. You will take this term. You know that this second term divided by the first term, what will that give you? That will give you r. Also, if you take the third term divided by the second term, that will also give you r, right? So now we can form an equation. So here we have r, here we have r, so we solve simultaneously. So on one side we have minus 2p over 2p plus 6 is equal to p plus 2 over 2p minus 2p, sorry. So now we have this equation. Next step is to cross multiply. You will have 4p squared is equal to p plus 2 times 2p plus 6. Now we have to expand the brackets and simplify. That will be 4p squared equal to expand this, I like to do it this way. I'll take the first value, multiply by the brackets of the other one, take the second value, multiply by the brackets of the second one. So you will have 4p squared is equal to 2p squared plus 6p plus 4p plus 12. That will be 4p squared is equal to 2p squared plus 10p plus 12. Now let's send everything to one side. You will have, that will give me 2p squared minus 10p minus 6 equal to 0. Now since everything is even, I can divide by 2 everywhere. You will have p squared minus 5p minus 12, that was 12, not 6. Divide by 2, that will be minus 6 equal to 0. So simplify, that will become factorize, so that will p times p. 6 is 6 times 1. To get minus 5, we have to have minus 6 plus 1. P will be 6, p will be minus 1. Now of course we will not take this value because we know that p is a positive value. So we conclude that p is equal to 6. Okay, so now if you have the value of p, what can you find? You can find the things that you need to find this value. So for example, I can find the first term. Okay, so the first term is given to you by what? By 2 times p plus 6. That will be 18. That is my first term. I can find the common ratio. R is given to you by this formula here, which is minus 2p, which is 6, divided by 2p plus 6. That will be minus 12 over 18, and that will be divided by 6 minus 2 over 3. That will be your value of R. Now replace back in your main equation. You can find your sum to infinity. That will be a is 18 divided by 1 minus r. So you will have, so 1 minus 2 over 3. 18 divided by answer, that will be 10.8. So your final answer will be 10.8 for your sum to infinity. And that will be your question number 2. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. The equation of the curve is y, and where m is a constant, that is good to know, and we have equation of a line is this. Okay, so we have to show that for all the values of m, the line intersects the curve at 2 distinct points. So whenever you hear that or see that, what do you think about? So you have to think about b squared minus 4ac is more than 0. So we have to show that this is true. So we have to find this. So of course, one by one, we have to first see if they interact. So by having those two equations, we want to see if they meet or not. If they meet, intersect means it means meeting. If they meet, they have to touch. So we have to solve them simultaneously. So one side we have 6x plus 4 equal to 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Simplify. That will be 6x plus 4. That will be 2x squared plus 2mx plus m. Send everything to one side, you will have 2x squared 2mx minus 6x plus m minus 4 is equal to 0. So simplify, you will have 2x squared plus, we can factorize the x outside. You will have x 2m minus 6 plus m minus 4 equal to 0. So now you can see it looks like a quadratic equation. So here it is a, that is b, and that is c. So we have to find b squared minus 4ac and show that it is more than 0. So let's find this first. B squared is 2m minus 6 squared minus 4 times a times c. C is this one. So you will have 4m squared minus 24m plus 36 minus 8m minus 4. So simplify, you will have 4m squared minus 24m plus 36 minus 8m plus 32. You have 4m squared minus 32m, so minus 24 minus 8 will be minus 32, plus that will be 68. So this plus this will be 68. Now we can try to simplify this if you want to. We can multiply it. So divide by 4. You will have m squared minus 8m plus 17. Let's check. Yep, 17. So now how can you show this is more than 0? That's what we need to show, right? So the one trick you will know, or you will know by practice, it is only through experience and practice that we realize that whenever you have a quadratic equation, if you want to prove something like this, you can always convert this to a complete square form. So we have to complete the squares. So let's do that one by one. So what I like to do is I like to write the first two terms together, leave some space, and plus 17. So I have to add something here. So the first thing I check is the coefficient of m squared is 1. Yes, it is 1, so good. Now I can do this. I need to add something, and that thing is the value here, which is 8. So we don't take the minus, we just take the value here, divide by 2 square. Now, of course, when you add something, you also have to minus the same value, so you don't change the equation, right? That makes sense, right? Okay, so now you'll have m squared minus 8m plus 4 square. That will be plus 17 minus 4 square. So now we can complete this square. So the first value will be m. Here we have minus, that will be minus. Here we have 4 inside, that will be 4 inside. That will be square. That will be 17 minus 16, that will be 1. So this became this in complete square form. So in this case, as you can see, you have proven that this is more than 0. Why? Let's check. Anything square, for any values of m, it can be negative or positive, but when you square it, it will be more than 0, right? And when you plus something as well, which is positive, more than 0, so together it will always be more than 0. So you have proven that b squared minus 4ac is more than 0. And by proving this, you have proven that it meets at 2 distinct points, and that is your question number 3. Okay, so let's move on to question number 4. The sum of the first n terms, as you can see, of the first n terms of an arithmetic progression is given by this formula here. Okay, now the kth term in the progression is more than this value. Okay, so that's something given to us. We have to use to find the values, right? So of course these formulas will be given to you as well. Let me check the name of the list of formula. So I think it's called the M or F9 sheet, but let me verify this for you. I think it is called the F9 sheet. Anyways, I don't think I can find this anymore, but no worries. Let me just continue with the question for now. So we have been given that the first n term, the equation is this one. So let's write this here. First n term will be n squared plus 4n. Okay, and we have to use this to find the rest. So for example, you have to think, how can you use this, right? So you have to know first, what does this mean? For example, let's say I have the sequence A, B, and C. When I say this is a sequence of 3 terms, so I would say find the sum of the first one term. You would say, okay, first one term, it is only A, right? Find the sum of the first 2 terms. You would say it is A plus B. Makes sense, right? Find the sum of the first 3 terms. You will say it is A plus B and plus C. Now, first n term, it will be going on, but the idea here, at least you understand what it is given to you. So I can use this to find a few values. For example, I can replace the value of n by 1. That will be sum of the first n terms. That will be 1 plus 4 times 1. That will be 5. But based on the same reasoning, what is that value? Sum of the first n term, as you can see, it is really just the value of A, which is just your first term, right? So you conclude that first term is 5. Now, same steps, I can do that. Sum of the first 2 terms. So when n is equal to 2, you will have 4 plus 8. That will be 12. But you have to know, we know the first term is 5. We know the second term we don't know, call it B. But we know that the sum of the first 2 terms, which is 5 plus B, is equal to 12. So we can find the second term, which is 12 minus 5, that will be 7. Okay, that was something just to explain that we have. So we have the first term and the second term. So that was something just to understand. Now let's use this. So what is the formula now for the kth term of an arithmetic progression? So let's call this n term. It is given by A times. So I need to double check this because I don't want to give you a tough formula to use. Let me just double verify this for you. I think my formula sheet should be somewhere around here. Okay, so I think I found it. So So arithmetic progression, we have a few formulas. So it is given to you, so you don't need to memorize this. This is given to you as well. It is u n is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. This is your nth term. But now we know that the kth term, so uk of k, right, that will be a plus n k minus 1, sorry, times d. So we know the value of a is this one. We don't know the value of k. We know the value of d. What is d? D is called the common difference. Pretty easy. How do you find this? So we know the first term is 5, and b is given to you by what? By 7. So the common difference here is 2. So we know that d is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. That's what I mean by common difference. So here we go. So we have u of k is equal to a is 5 plus k minus 1 times d, which is 2. It is more than 200. So we have to find the value of k by using this equation. So simplify. You have k minus 1 times 2 more than 195. K minus 1 will be more than 195 divided by 2. That will be 97.5. And finally, k will be 98.5. So of course, k is integer value. You would not give decimal value as your answer. So k has to be more than a term. So a term is an integer value. So what is the value after this? That will be 99. So k have to be 99 as your answer. That is your question number 4. Now I have to move on to question number 5. So we have two functions here. We have functions f and g are defined by these two. Now first one is to find the value of this. So what can we do? We can first just do this. F of g of 7. So let's first find the value of this. So g of 7 is what? That will be 4 divided by 7 plus 1. Just plug in the value here. You will have half. So now this becomes f of half. That will be 4 times half minus 2. That will be 2 minus 2. That will be 0. So 0 will be your answer for part A. Okay. Now next one, B. Find the values of x for which this is true. So let's find one by one. So first let's find f inverse of x. So first we have f of x. So we have to let y equal to f of x. So let y equal to 4x minus 2. That will be 4x 2 plus y. And finally you will have x equal to 2 plus y over 4. So you conclude that f inverse, it is in terms of x, have to be 2 plus x over 4. Now next one, same thing, let y equal to g of x is 4 divided by x plus 1. So we have to first cross multiply. You will have xy plus y equal to 4. So xy will be 4 minus y. So x have to be 4 minus y divided by y. So we conclude that g inverse of x have to be 4 minus x over x. Now let's solve this equation. So on one side we have f inverse of x and equal to g inverse of x. So we have 2 plus x over 4 is equal to 4 minus x over x. So now we have to cross multiply. You will have 2x plus x squared 16 minus 4x. You will have on one side, so send everything to one side, you will have x squared. So we have plus 2x plus 4x minus 16 equal to 0. X squared plus 6x minus 16 equal to 0. Factorize. X times x. 16 is 8 times 2. To get plus 6, we have to have plus 8 minus 2. X will be minus 8, x will be the value of 2. So the values of x will be minus 2 and 2. And that is your question number 6. Now let's move on to question number, so that was 5, this is 6, okay. So prove the left hand side equal to the right hand side. So let's start here. So first thing is, what is tan x? Tan x is sin x over cos x, right? So let's replace. You will have 1 minus sin x over cos x because they have the same base. Now multiply by 1 plus sin x over sin x, make it become the same base. Okay, so this become this. Now we have to multiply them by each other. As you can see, we have what? We have on top, we have 1 minus sin x times 1 plus sin x. And below we have cos x times sin x. Now we have to realize something. On top, what do we have? It looks something like this. A minus b times a plus b, right? Which means this is equal to difference of squares. So we can express this as this, which is equal to, on top that will become 1 square, which is 1, minus b square, which is sine square x, over cos x sin x. That will be cos square x over cos x sin x. Simplify, this one goes away. So you will have cos x over sin x. Now what is this value? This is equal to cot x, right? But cot x is obviously equal to 1 over tan x. And this is your answer, shown as required. Now let's move on to part B of this question. So whenever you see hence, you see hence here, hence. Hence means we have to use the previous value to find the answer. Hence solve this equation. So here we know this is equal to 1 over tan x is equal to 2 tan square x. So simplify, you will have 1 is equal to, so by cross multiply, 2 tan cube x. Now you know tan cube x will be 1 over 2. So tan x will be cubic root of 1 over 2. So you have 1 divided by 2 cubic root of the answer. That will give you this. So x is equal to tan inverse of the answer, 7937. Now of course, when tan is positive, you have to know something. So for those who do not know, this is called A, S, T, C. So we use this as a method to remember in which quadrant are the values positive or negative. For example here, when tan is positive, we know this is A. A means everything will be positive. So it can be in the first quadrant. And now tan is positive will be the T as tan, that will be here as positive as well. It can be this angle as well. So, but now let's see, we will have x is equal to tan inverse of answer, that will be 38.4 degrees. And also for the big one, that will be 180 plus answer, that will be 218.4 degrees. So now just because x is only defined between 0 and 180, so we will not take this value, x would only be equal to 38.4 degrees because of the domain defined for the values of x. Now let's move on to question number 7. The point 4, 7 lies on the curve. It is given that f prime of x is given by this. So what is f prime of x? You have to know f prime of x is the same as dy by dx. It is the same thing. Okay, dy by dx. Now let's see the first question. So we have a point moves along the curve, okay, in such a way that the x value is increasing at a constant rate. So here we have rate of this. So given to us is dx by dt for rate is constant 0.12. The reason why is because it is positive value, because it is increasing. If you were saying it was decreasing, it will be negative value. So just know this. If in case in the future, if it says decreasing, you will put negative. But here, it is positive. So here we know this thing for now. So question is, find the rate of increase of y when x is this. So we have to find dy by dt when x is equal to 4. So we have to use chain rule to form an equation to find this value. So let's look. We want to find dy by dt. It is equal to, so here we have what? We have dy, and here we have dt. So we have to multiply, and here we have dt. So what connects these two? If you observe by the equation or by the values given, you can see that they are connected by x. So you have to put dx and dx. So basically, we have to find this and this. So we know that dx by dt is given to you by 0.12, and dy by dx is given to you by what value? By this, dy by dx. So let's find the values. So here we go. So dy by dx add the value of 4. So we have to find f prime of 4. That will be 6. So that will be 6 divided by root of 4 minus 4 over. That will be 3 over 2. Something like this, right? So let's do that. That will be 6 divided by 2 minus 4 power 1.5. This is 1.5, right? That will be 4 over 8. Okay, 6 divided by 2 minus 4 divided by 8. That will be 2.5. Replace back in your main equation, you will have what? So dy by dt, that will be dy by dx is given by this at the value. So dy by dx at the value of 4 is 2.5 times 0.12 given to you by your question. That will be 0.3 as your answer. So let's double check just to confirm. So we have to find the rate of increase of y. So we have to find dy by dt. Now in this equation, as you can see, we have dy on top and we have dt at the bottom. So how are they connected? So when you look at the equation and the values given to you, we have x here, we have dx by dt given to you. So you can confirm that it is connected by dx and dx. So we know this is given by this value. So we know this one already. This is 0.12 dx by dt. And what is dy by dx? So we know that f prime of x is the same thing as dy by dx. So this is given to you. We just need to find the value here. Why 4? Because it says when x equal to 4. That's why we put 4 here to find the value that we need. That will be 2.5 and that will be 2.5. That's why we do that, to find the value that we need. Okay, makes sense. So that will be my answer for part A. Now for part B, we have to find the equation of the curve. So you have to know, equation of the curve means you have to find the value of y. I mean the equation of y. Now, how do you find y? It is by integration of dy by dx, which is here, it is the integration of f prime of x, which is the same thing as dy by dx. That will be integration of, so we have, this is equal to 6x power minus half plus, minus 4x 3 over 2 dx. Now the point is 4, 7. We have to use this point later on to find the value of my integration of constant of integration. So let's do that. So one by one, you will have 6 here. We have to add 1, that will become 3 over 2. So that will become 3 over 2. Minus 4, add 1, become minus half, and divide by minus half. Of course, plus c for my constant. Now simplify, you will have y equal to, so this will become 2, so that will become 4x 3 over 2 minus become plus 8x minus half plus c. So let's simplify again. You will have y 4x 3 over 2 plus 8 over this plus c. So now we have to find this value of c. So we have to use these two values. This is x coordinate, this is y coordinate. So here we have 7, 4 times 4, this is 1.5, right? 3 divided by 2 is 1.5 plus 8 over root of 4 is 2 plus c. So 4 power 1.5 is 8 times 4 plus 4. So here we have 7 is equal to 4 times, so that was 8 if I believe. Yep, that is 8 plus 4 plus c. So what is the value of c? So 4 times 8 plus 4, 7 minus answer, that will be 29. So from what I can see, c will be minus 29. So I conclude that my equation will be y equal to 4x 3 over 2 plus 8 over root of x minus 29. So let me just double check because I think I may have made a mistake, but I'm not too sure. Okay, but it seems to be okay. I mean, everything looks to be fine. Let's check one more time. So this is my dy by dx given to me, and I have to add 1 first. So, oh, I see. So I made a mistake here. So you see, this is not cool. That is a silly mistake that I made. I did not see the minus sign. So let's try it again, and we can find the right answer. So we have here, we have y is root of dy by dx. That is my equation that we need to know to find the value of y. Now we have replace. We know that f prime of x is the same thing as this, and we know f prime of x is given to you by the question, which is 6x power half minus 4x power 3 over 2. So of course, do not forget the minus sign when you do this. So y will be integration of 6x minus half minus 4x minus 2 dx. So that will be 6, that will be x, we have to plus 1, that will become half, divided by half, minus 4, plus 1 becomes minus half, over minus half, of course, plus c. Now we have to simplify. That will become y equal to 12x power half minus, become plus, right? That will become 8 over root of x plus c. So we know we have to use the point 47. This is my x, my y. Your y is 7. Your x is 4 power half plus 8 over 2 plus c. So simplify, you will have 7 is equal to 12 times 2 plus 4 plus c. 7 will be 24 plus 4 plus c. That will be 7 is 28 plus c. So c will be 7 minus 28. That will be minus 21. So finally your answer will be y is equal to 12 root x plus 8 over root x minus 21. So that will be your answer for question number 7. Okay, so now let's move on to question number 8. So here what do we have? So here we have a diagram. I think we have to find something about the shaded area, but anyways, let's do one by one. So we have ABC is an isosceles triangle, as you can see. This is same and same, okay? With AB and BC equal to R, and the angle is theta. BAC is theta. So because these two sides are the same, this is also theta, okay? So which means if these two are theta, this has to be, if you think, it will be pi minus 2 theta. I hope that makes sense, right? Because everything together is 180 degrees, which is pi radians. And because these two are the same, this will be the third angle of the triangle. Anyways, let's continue. So we have a point D lies on AC, and we have ABD is a sector of a circle center A. Okay, part 1. Express the area of the region in terms of R and theta. So how would you find the area of that region? So as you can see, you will first have to use your formula to find the area of this big triangle and then minus the area of sector. So this is the idea. Area of shaded region, that will be area of triangle ABC minus area of sector ABD. As you can see, it will give you that area. So one by one, how would you find the area of the triangle? You use your formula, which is, let's call this number 1 and number 2. So number 1, that will be using your formula. So half times the two sides, which is R and R, and times sine of the angle pi minus 2 theta. That will become half R square sine of this. Now we can simplify this if you want to, right? So what is sine of this minus 2 pi? So this is also given to you on your list of formula. You don't have to remember this. So this will give you expansion of. So let me give you the normal term first. So we have sine A minus B. That will be sine A. Usually that should be cos. I think it is still cos, right? Cos B. Here we have minus. Now minus. Now be cos A sine B. So that will be the expansion of that. And of course, you don't need to remember this by heart because it is given to you on your list of formula. So just replace the values here. You will have what? That will be sine of A is this. That will be 2 theta minus cos this sine of this. Now this is 0. And we know this is minus 1. So your answer will become 0 minus minus 1. That will be, so 1 sine 2 theta. It will become sine 2 theta as your value. So your answer finally will be half R square sine 2 theta. Now if you want to expand this again, you can always do that, but you don't need to, which is the good news. We can just continue with the other part. So now we have to find number 2. Area of sector ABD. So pretty easy. This is radius. This is also radius. So area of sector, that will be half R square theta. Theta is the angle in between. Half R square is R square and theta is the angle. So this is your answer. So replace number 2 is half R square theta. So finally, conclusion is area that we need is the big one, half R square sine 2 theta minus half R square theta. This is your answer in terms of R and theta. That will be part A. Now part B. So given that R is 10 and theta is 0.6, we have to find the perimeter of the region. Now if you observe, we have to break it down into a few pieces to find that area. So we know this is, what is the perimeter? That will be DC plus CB and plus BD. So CB is R, BD is the arc length, which is given by R theta, and plus DC we don't know. So we know we have to find these few things to find the value. So let's write this down. P is DC plus R theta. So P is equal to DC plus R is 10. R theta is 6. So P is DC plus 16. So let's find the value of DC. So how would you find DC? If you observe, DC can be found by what? We can first find AC minus R to find DC. And how can you find AC? So if you observe again, ABC is a triangle. You know the angle in between, and you know these two sides. You can find AC by using your cosine rule. Okay, so here you go. We have a triangle. Angle here we know already. On two sides, let's call this alpha. We want to find x. So we have to use the cosine rule. Okay, here you go. Which is equal to cosine of the angle is equal to r squared plus r squared minus x squared divided by 2 times r times r. And this is something you need to know. It is not given to you, so make sure you know the formula for cosine rule and sine rule as well for this thing. Now, cos the angle is, so as you can see on the main diagram, it is pi minus 2 theta. So pi minus 2 theta, theta is 0.6. It is given by r squared plus r squared, that will be 2r squared minus x squared divided by 2r squared. So let's simplify. Let's see what do we get. So let's see what is that value. So we have 2 times 0.6 pi minus answer. Cos of that, we have to use radians. That will be this value. So I can see we'll go into decimal place. So in that case, what can I do? If you observe, I can also use the sine rule. I know this angle. I can so let me see if something can be used to find exact values or not. So here I know theta is given to me by 0.6. Pi minus 2 theta, that will be what? That will be 1.94. Okay, I guess so it will never be exact values. We have to use decimal place anyways. I guess in that case we have no choice. Okay, so we will do that now. So here we have this, and here what is this one? So cos of the answer, that will be this, minus 0.362. We have to cross multiply, you will have times 2. So minus 0.362 times 2, that will be minus 0.724 r squared equal to 2r squared minus x squared. So we have to see what can we do now. We have to send x over here. That will become x squared is equal to 2x squared, 2r squared plus 0.724 r squared. X squared will be what? So 2 plus the value plus 0.724, that will be this value, 2.724 r squared. So x will be square root of the value, which will be 1.65 r. Okay, this is your value of x, which we want to find, which is AC. So we know that x is AC here, so which is AC, but we don't care about AC. We want to find DC. We know that DC is simply AC minus the radius. So 1.65 r minus 1 r, that will be 0.65 r. Okay, so that will be your value for DC. So finally, the perimeter will be what? Let's see what we have. We have DC, which is 0.65 r. R is 10 plus 16. 0.65 times 10 plus 16, that will be 22.5. So my answer will be 22.5 centimeter for the perimeter. As you can see, this question was done step by step to find the answer. Now again, this is not the only method to find that. You can always use your sine rule. For example, I can show you as well. So here I have the triangle, right? I have A, C, and B. This is theta, and this is pi minus 2 theta. This is R and R. We want to find AC. So by using the sine rule, I can say that AC, we don't know, but I know it is opposite this angle. We write opposite sine of this minus 2 theta. E is equal to, this side is R. Opposite R we have theta, which is sine of theta. So this is my sine rule equation to find the value of AC. As you can see, AC is equal to R times sine of this minus 2 theta divided by sine theta. Theta was given to you by, I think it's 0.6. Yeah, 0.6. And R was by 10. So let's replace and see what happens. AC will be 10 sine of, this is 1.94. So let's check. 2 times 0.6 pi minus answer, that will be 1.94, correct, and then divide by sine of 0.6. So let's do that. 10 times sine of 1.94 divided by sine of 0.6. That should give you 16.5 as your answer for AC. Now again, if you want to find DC, that will be AC minus R, which is AC is given by 16.5, radius is 10, that will be 6.5. And finally, the perimeter is simply given by BC, as you can see on the diagram. It is BC, which is R is 10, by 10. And we have BD, which is arc length, which is also by formula, which is R theta. R is 10, theta is 0.6. Then plus DC, which is 6.5. That is also going to give you the same value, which is 10 plus 6 plus 6.5, also 22.5. As you can see, there's many ways of doing the same question, but that will give you the same answer for the perimeter. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. So a circle has a center B, and the point A lies on the circle. Okay, good to know. Now we have to find the equation of a circle. So you have to know that equation of a circle looks like this: x minus a, for example, plus y minus b equal to r squared. That was the general equation of a circle. So where a and b, it is the x and y coordinate of the center of the circle, and r is the radius of the circle. So as you can see, we know a few things already here, which is x minus 5. So that should be square here. I forgot these two. Square plus y minus b is 1. But we still have to find the value of r, or r squared, because as you can see, if you draw a diagram, right, this is my center B, this is A, for example. A is here, this is B. So if I know these 2 points, how can I find the radius? If you observe, the distance from B to A, from the center to the surface of the circle, has to be the radius. So basically you have to find the distance AB to find the radius. That will be square root, which is radius, modulus, of course. That will be, this is a formula we use, obviously. It is, of course, you have to know, this is the point A, and we have the point B. We have to find the distance in between to find the radius. So usually we do x2 minus x1, that will be 6 square, and y2 minus y1, that will be 3 square. That will be 36 plus this is 9, that will be square root of 45. So here we have r is equal to square root of 45, but here we need r square, so we conclude that r square have to be 45. So finally the equation of the circle is x minus 5 square y minus 1 square equal to 45. This is your answer for part A. Now for part B, we have a point C, okay, is such that AC is the diameter of the circle and point D has these coordinates. So as always, it is always best to draw something so you understand what's happening, right? So we have a circle here. It's the same circle. We have the point B. Here we have the point A. We have a point C such that it is a diameter. So this is the radius. Diameter means that C has to be on the other side for it to be the diameter. Okay, as you can see, this is how it should look like. Now it says the point D has a coordinate of 516. Great. And we know that DC, we have to show that DC is a tangent to the circle. So we have to show that DC, so the point D should be somewhere 516. So DC has to be, so for example, let's say I have, so this is the line. I was supposed to touch here, but that's okay. You get the idea. It needs to touch here. And let's say D is somewhere, let me draw D because for it to make sense, D has coordinates 516. So let me draw something better for you to understand, right? So here we go. So here we have the circle. This is B. This is A. We know AC is the diameter. This is B. And we know that somewhere over here, we have the point D here. So how do we know the point D is exactly on top of B? How? If you look at the coordinates, B is given to you by 5, 1, and D is given to you by 5, 16. So they have the same x coordinates. It means that they lie on the same vertical line. That's how we know. Just the distance is different for the y values. Okay. So we have to show that DC is a tangent to the circle. So how do we show it is a tangent? Because as you can see here on the diagram, a tangent will touch the circle at only one point, and it is always at 90 degrees to its center for the radius, of course. So we have to show that the radiant of AB or AC multiplied by the gradient of DC has to be -1. By showing this, we can show that it is a tangent to the circle. So right now, what do we have? We have the points. What is the point C? So we have to first find the point C. So pretty easy. So the point A is given to you by -1, -2. And the point B is given to you by 5, 1. So how did you move from B to A? So B to A have to move -1 here. We have to become 5, so I have to move 6 place. So A going to B, I had to move 6 place, right? So 1, 2, 6, and then going up, I have to go up by, from -2 to go to 1, that has to be 3. So the displacement from A to B is 6, 3. But since AC is a tangent, the displacement from B to C would also have to be the same. So basically, from B going to C, we have to move the same thing. So we have to be, C will be plus 6 here, that will be 11, plus 3, that will be 4. So this will be your point C. So from that, we can just find the gradient and then find the values. So the gradient of AB is height divided by base, that will be 2. Now we have to find the gradient of CD. So the point D is 516. So y2 minus y1, that will be 12. 16 minus 4, it will be 12. 5 minus, this should be what? Let's check. That will be minus 6. The answer should be minus 2. So I think it should be in the other direction, because from what I can see here, it should be this one. This and this. Direction wise will be different, so we have to look at the direction as well to find the correct value. Okay, so basically the gradient, because it is going down as well, as you can see, the slope is downwards, so we confirm that DC has to be minus 1 over 2. So I apologize for this confusion, because as you can see, the slope has to be going downwards, has to be negative for sure, but also because of the direction of that has to be this value. So conclusion have to be this 2 times minus half to give you minus 1. So by showing this, we have shown that it is a tangent to the circle. That's the main reason why it is. Okay, so anyway, so again, if you guys want to retry this, let me show this to you. No big deal, let's do it again. So the main point here is we have found out that we know these points. We know the point A is given to you by minus 1, minus 2. The point B has been given to you by 5, 1. The point C has been given to you by, you have found it is 11, 4, right, by displacement. And the point D is given to you by 5, 16. So you want to show that we have two lines. We have this line and this line. This is A, B, C, and D somewhere over here. So you want to show that these two is a tangent, so we have to show it is perpendicular to each other. So we have to show by using gradient. So let's find the gradient AB. That will be what? That will be y2, will be 1 minus 2 over y1. So y2 minus y1 will be this. X2 minus x1 will be 5 minus 1. That will be 3 over 6. That will be half. So again, I see I was confused by the other calculation as well. So that's why I changed direction, but here we have a pretty clear idea of what's happening. So gradient of AB, which is in this direction, it is this. Now gradient of CD, same formula, y2, 16 minus 4 over 5 minus 11. That will be 12 over minus 6. That will be minus 2. Okay, so I think here I made a mistake in the points, so ignore this part here. Ignore this point. Don't look at this, look at this. So here, as you can see very clearly, that if I take the gradient of AB times CD, that will be half times minus 2. It has to give you minus 1. So by having this answer, we prove that CD is a tangent to the circle. Okay, so that is your answer for part B. So now we move on to question part C. Now the other tangent of D to the circle touches the circle at E. Find the point E. So pretty easy. So again, it is always best to draw something so you understand what's happening. So circle here. Okay, this is the point B. This is A, B, C. Now we know that D is exactly on top of B. This is the line D here, right? And the other tangent from D will be where? Will be in this direction, somewhere over here, right? It will be this one. This will be your point E. So we have to find the point E. So now as you can see, these have to be the same thing. So basically, if I how can you do this? If you observe, there's many ways again. one of the simplest way is, how did you move from C to D? The point C is 11, I think it was found to be 11.4. D was given to you by 5.16. So C going to D, we had to move, if you observe, so CD defined by OD minus OC, which is 5.16 minus 11.4. That will be minus 6 and 12. That is direction CD. So basically what it means is, from the point C to go to D, that will be minus 6.12. So minus 6.12 will be minus 6, so in this direction, and then 12. So you have to know that this shape here is the same as the shape over here. So to move from D to E, we have to move the same distance. If that makes any sense. So basically we can just move. If that was 6, this also has to be 6, right? So if C is 11.4, you have to move 12 to the left to go to E. So 12 to the left is defined by a transition of matrix minus 12, 0. So from C, we move minus 12, 0. That is 11.4 plus minus 12, 0. That will be minus 1, 4. So your point E has to be the point minus 1, 4. According to this diagram, I hope that was somewhat clear to understand how do we move from C to E. But the main point is that you have to understand that the shapes here, they are the same. If you move the same distance to go to D, you also can do this. From D, you have to move to E. So if you move 6, 12 up to go to D, from D to go to E, we can move 6 here and move 12 down. If you want to try that, you can try that as well. But that's the easiest one. We know that these two, they are symmetric. If you move 6 to go to the midpoint here, you have to move another 6 to go to the other side. So that's why E, we have just to move from C by 12 units left to find this point. It is only 2 marks, as you can see. It should not be that hard. So E is minus 1, 4. Okay, so that will be question, I think that was question number 9. Let's move on to question number 10. The diagram shows part of the curve and its minimum point M, okay, which lies on the x-axis. Now, find dy by dx, so pretty easy. So we can write y as 2, we can bring this up and become 3 minus 2x power minus 2 minus x. So dy by dx is what? So 2 will be the same because it is only a multiple. We have to first multiply by the power, that will be 3 minus 2x, so we have to minus 1. And then times by the d by dx of the inside, it will be minus 2 and minus 1. It will be, so 2 times this, that will be 8. 3 minus 2x power minus 3 minus 1. This is dy by dx. Now we have to find d2y by dx2. So let's do that. d2y by dx2. That will be 8, same, times minus 3, the power, you have 3 minus 2, then minus 1 again, and then times minus 2, that will become 0. You will have, so that will have become 8 times 6 will be 46, 48, sorry, you can try. Yep, 48, and then you will have 3 minus 2x, power minus 4 plus 0. Or we can just write 48 divided by 3 minus 2x, power 4 for your answer for d2y by dx2. Now next one, we have to find integration of y. So integrate y by dx. So replace the values. That will be y is given to you by 2. That will be 3 minus 2x minus 2 minus x by dx. That will be 2. Then we have 3 minus 2x. Increase by 1, become minus 1. Divide by value and divide by minus 2. So I get this question many times, why do we need to divide by minus 2? Is because we have to divide by d by dx of the value of the inside, which is this. This is equal to minus 2, so we divide by this value. And then this will become minus x squared over 2 plus c, so we conclude that y have to be cancel out, right? That will be 1 over 3 minus 2x minus x squared over 2 plus c as my integration of the value of y. So it's not y, it's integration of y. Okay, that will be part A. Now let's move on to part B. So we have to find by calculation the x value of the point M. So we know the point M is what? Is the minimum point. And what do you know? At minimum point we know that dy by dx have to be 0. And what is dy by dx? So we have found it was 8 over 3 minus 2x power 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. So let's solve. It will be 8 over 3 minus 2x power 3 is equal to 1. So we can cross multiply. You will have 8 equal to 3 minus 2x power 3. So 3 minus 2x, that will be 2, right? If you send the power over here, becomes, so if you have a power 3 equal to 8, a will be cubic root of 8, which is 2. Same thing here. So 3 minus 2x is 2. 2x will be 3 minus 2. And x will be 1 divided by 2. That will be 0.5. So the x point of M is 0.5. That is B. Now for part C, we have to find the area of the shaded region. If you observe, it's pretty easy. It is area below the curve from this point 0 to the point here, which is half. So integration of y from half and 0 by dx. That will be 1 over 3 minus 2x minus x squared over 2 limits of half and 0. So where did I find this? It is found from part 1, where we had to find this already. Now I just replace the values in, and we'll see what happens. So we have half here, 1 over 3, so half will be 1, so that will be 2, minus 1 over 8, right? And then what else do we have? We have 0, that will be 1 over 3 minus, that will be 0. So we have half minus 1 over 8 minus 1 over 3. Half minus 1 over 8 minus 1 over 3. That should be 1 over 24 as my answer. So, but let me double check. I always have some kind of doubts about my answers. Let me check if that is correct or not. So I was given that y is equal to this equation is 2 times 3 minus 2x minus and then minus x, and the curve looks something like this. So we have x here and here we have y, and the curves something like this. This is the point 0.5 and that was 0. We have to find this area. This is found by integration between 0.5 and 0 of y is 2 3 2x minus 2 minus x by dx. So let's try to simplify and see what happens. Okay, so here we have what? 2 is the same, doesn't change. We will have 3 minus 2x. We have to plus 1 for the power, become minus 1. So divide by the power, then divide by minus 2. We have to minus, we have to increase 1, then divide by 2, and then limits 0.5 and 0. So simplify, this will cancel out, so I will have 1 over 3 minus 2x minus x squared over 2 and limits of 0.5, 0. So that will be 1 over 3 minus 2 times half will be minus 1, and that should be 0.5 squared divided by 2, that is 1 over 8, minus, that will be 1 over 3 minus 0. So 1 over 2 minus 1 over 8, that will be 3 over 8 minus 1 over 3. So it seems to be okay. Minus 1 over 3, so that will be minus 1 over 24 for the area of that small region. So I think it is the right answer. Okay, that will be question number 10. Let's move on to question number 11. So a curve have equation of y. Okay, find the biggest and the least value of y. So you have to know something here is that what is the maximum and the minimum value of this? So it is between minus 1 and 1. So for example, if the value here is 1, let's do that. You have y is equal to 3 times 1 plus 2. That will be 5. If the value is minus 1, 3 times minus 1 plus 2, that will be minus 1. So the max value is 5 and the mean value is minus 1. It's also the same thing for sine. So sine of any angle as well, it should be between the value of 1 and minus 1. So sine of, so a cos of any angle as well, it can be 2x, 3x, 500x, is the same thing. So by using this thing that we know, we place the values here, right, to see what is the max and the minimum values. Now for part B, we have to sketch this graph for this domain. So let's sketch that. I don't think I have a ruler here, but let me try to see what I can do. So let's use a table of values as always. So here we have what? Let me use my y-axis, and let's call this my x-axis. So because this is 2, usually I use 2 pi divided by 2 because the usual domain is usually 0 and then 2 pi. That's the usual thing, but now we have this one, that is pi. So basically we have one cycle in pi. We have to know this, right? And of course the easiest way to do this is we can simply do a table of values and then plot a graph. I know that the max value, the minimum value is minus 1 and the max value will be 5 according to this, right? So let me just mark that for now, right? Something that I know that I can use. Okay, and the value of 2, this is your intercept, 2. So this is 1, 2 will be somewhere, let's say somewhere about here. Right. Now, to help myself, I will always do this. I will make a table of, let me use fresh page. I will always use a table of values to draw a sine or cos curve. That's the easiest way to do this, and I will always encourage that to always make a table of values. So I have y is equal to 3 cos of 2x plus 2. 4x between 0 and pi. I will take x and y values. I will begin with 0. When x is 0, what is the value of y? So 3 cos 0 plus 2. That is 5. Okay, so now what else can we use? Let's do pi by 2. For example, let's do that. So we have 3 cos of 2 times this will become cos of pi. So 2 cos of pi, that is minus 2 plus 2, that will be 0. Okay, and then we can use that. That will be 3 cos of 2 pi plus 2, that will be 5. Okay, as you can see, we have an idea where the points might be. So when it was 0, it was 5. And when it was pi by 2, so let's say pi by 2 was here, and then pi was here. For example, doesn't need to be exact, it's only this is pi by 2. Pi by 2 was 0, this point, and then this was back again to this value here. So the only reason why I can do that is because it is only a sketch, so it can be an approximate drawing. It doesn't need to be exact. So the idea here is it will be something like this. So we know this point, this, and we know this point. And we know that the it completes one cycle in this. So it has to be completing one cycle in this. So let's see what other values we can use, because there's many gaps here. Like we don't know where can we put the values still. There's many gaps that we have, right? So let's see what other values we can use. So whenever you have 2 here, I can try to do 90 divided by 2, 45 degrees. So I can measure every 45 degrees. For example, if I had x, 0, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 135, that will be 180. For example, I will do that for now. So this is basically x is 0, because usually we do the 2 comes from here, okay? 45 degrees is pi divided by 4. So pi is 180, divided by 4 is 45, divided by 4. This is pi by 2. This is 3 pi by 4. This is pi. So find the corresponding value of y. So we have 3 cos of 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 2, that is 5. That's the first value. Pi by 4, that will be 3 cos 2 times pi over 4 plus 2. That should be 2. And here we have 90, which is 3 cos of 2 times pi by 2 plus 2. That should be minus 1. So mistake here should be minus 1. And then 3 pi by 4, sorry, so 3 cos 2 times 3 pi by 4. That should be 0. So let me try it, because it should be, normally I think it should be 2, but let me check, because it should be symmetric. So 3 cos 2 times 3 pi over 4 plus 2. Yeah, 2. I was right, because it needs to be symmetric, and the last one should be 5. So the points here, I mean, one mistake here is that this point should be actually minus 1 according to my table of values, as you can see here. Now pretty easy again. So this will be the other values, has to be somewhere here and somewhere here. It is symmetric, so pretty easy. Have to look something like this. This and this. As you can see, this will be your curve of y equal to 3 cos 2x plus 2. Okay, so that will be your cost curve. So the main idea here for you to understand is you have to make a table of values and draw the graph. Like this, you're sure that you have the right answer. That's the way to do this one. Now for part C, let's say we have a straight line y equal to kx, where k is a constant. Okay, state the number of solutions of the equation. This is your y, which is the curve, equal to kx. So you want to know, if you want to draw the line y equal to kx on this graph, at how many points it will meet for each of the cases. Now if k equal to minus 3, so let's see. Let's say if you had this one, so we can test. Let's say we have the point 0. So if x was 0, y will be 0. So it will be here, for example, right? And then let's say we have x equal to value of, let's choose the value of pi by 2. Okay, let's do that. What if x equals to pi by 2? Y will be minus 3 pi by 2, which is what value? So minus 3 pi divided by 2, that is minus 4.7. So at this point it will be really down here at minus 4.7, so it means that it would not meet, it will be in this direction and it would not meet the curve. So your answer will be 0 solution when k equal to minus 3. Okay, so let's see this one. Now k equal to 1, so y equal to x. So let's try again. If x equal to 0, y equal to 0, so we have a point here. Good news. Now next one, let's try, what if the value of x equal to pi by 2? So y will also be pi by 2, which is approximately what value? Pi divided by 2, which is 1.6, for example. So if x equal to this value, your value of y will be 1.6, will be somewhere over here by approximation. Now if you want to join these two, as you can see, they will meet the curve at 2 points. So we can write down they would have 2 solutions. So this is I'm doing this for you to understand what is happening and what answer can you have for this. So now we have 3, so y equal to 3x. Same thing, x 0, y 0. So the first point is right here, and then we have, let's try some other points. If you have, let's say for example, you have x equal to pi by 2, y will be 3 pi by 2. So 3 pi by 2 will be what? Let's see. So 3 times pi divided by 2, that will be 4.71. Okay, so pi by 2, 4.71 will be just below the 5, somewhere about here. If you want to join those two, as you can see, it will be keep going up, it will only meet at 1 point. So it means that for this one, my number of solution is only 1 solution for part C, and that is my question number part C. Now let's move on to part D. So here we have functions f, g, and h, as you can see. Describe fully the sequence of transformation that maps f of x onto g of x. If you observe g of x, what do? We change the x to 2x and we plus 4. Okay, so pretty easy, one by one. What changed? The x changed to 2x, as you can see. There was only x here, became 2x, and we added and we plus 4 at the end. So what does that mean? So let's take one by one. So whenever we change the value to something else, we call this a stretch. Stretched by a factor. So now this is the tricky part. If it is 2, we will write half. So let's say if it was 1x, it becomes ax, the factor will be 1 over a. So by a factor of this, and the direction will be horizontal direction. Okay, horizontally. Whenever it is inside for the x values, it's always horizontally. So why? Because if you think about this logically, we draw the y-axis like this and the x-axis like this. So x is always horizontal movement. When you change the value of x to something else, it always moves horizontally. So this became a stretch by a factor of half. That's the first transformation. And now for the plus 4, so when you add 4 to something, it will move up by the value of 4. You call this a translation by the column vector of, when you go up it is positive, we say 0, 4 for this. So 4 is moving up by translation. So we have 2 transformations that change f of x to g of x. Now again, for e we have h of x. H of x is equal to 2 f, and then we have x plus half this. So one by one, what changed here? So here we have x became x plus half this. So here the first change is, again, it will be moving horizontally because we have change in x, but in what direction? Now this is a tricky part. Whenever we add something, we will move to the left direction. So you would say it is a translation by this direction, minus half this, because it is going to move in the left, because it is plus. That is a tricky part here. Now what happened again? Number 2, we have 2 here in front of f. So from f, it became 2f. Again, it will be a stretch by a factor of 2. It is outside now, so that's what we say, 2. But in what direction? It will be vertically. Okay, so that will be your answer for part E. Okay, so this is your question number 11, and that was the last question of this paper. I hope you guys find this helpful, and as always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.